Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Group 9. We will discuss how to planning the interview and conducting the interview.
Planning the interview. The following pointers can help you in planning an efficient and effective interview. Number 1. Define the goal. You should make your goal as clear as possible. Before conducting the interview, kailangan alam mo kung ano yung purpose, kung bakit i-conduct yung interview. Knowing your goal is one way for you to be prepared. Kasi by knowing the goal means you know what relevant questions you should ask para makuha yung information na kailangan mo. Aside from that, mas mapapadali and mas maayos ang flow ng interview since maiiwasan yung mga unnecessary na conversations since alam mo kung ano yung patutunguhan ng interview because you have a certain goal. Number 2. Identify and analyze the other party. When you interview, you must select the person who be the best person to give the needed information. The success of your interview depends on the person you chose as your interviewer. As you decide who will you interview, consider the following factors. Going back the first pointer. Since alam mo na kung ano yung goal mo, you have to look for the right person na may true knowledge regarding the topic you have or someone na makakapagbigay sa'yo ng factual information na kailangan mo. Then, kung nakapag-decide ka na, may mga factors na kailangan kang i-consider before the interview, which are the following. Letter A. Knowledge level. Ask questions that are related to the interview's experience and educational background. If you are being interviewed, remember to figure out the knowledge level of the interviewers so you can avoid giving too complex or too basic information. Siyempre, dapat alam mo kung ano ba yung level of intelligence ng kausap mo in order for you to make adjustments sa kung paano ka maayos makipag-converse sa taong i-interviewin mo. Like for example, ang kausap mo pala high school level ang natapos. You need to be flexible enough para makapagtanong in a way na maiintindihan ka niya. In that way, mas mapapadali ang pag-acquire ng information na kailangan mo from the interview para maiwasan yung mga di pagkaunawaan. Letter B. The other's concept of self. If you are in an interview, consider the other party's self-concept. If, for example, your teacher is interviewing you about your performance in class, consider whether sees her or himself as a teacher doing an academic research, an experienced educator trying to figure out what works best with the students, or employee who will be in trouble if your answer does not match her or his expectations. Each attitude will influence the flow of conversation, so be sensitive what role does the other party play. Ibig sabihin naman nito, kung ikaw naman yung in-interview, you have to be sensitive enough and to analyze yung way kung paano ka i-approach ng interviewer. Halimbawa, si teacher siya yung tipo ng jolly or easygoing, ganon. Tapos, nagtanong siya about a certain topic. Kailangan, i-assess mo kung nagkikipagbiruan ba siya or seryoso siya. Kung nagtatanong ba siya due to research o baka naman gusto niyang i-assess yung students niya. In that way, malalaman mo kung paano sasagutan yung tanong ni teacher in a right way or yung connected sa tanong ni teacher. Letter C. Your image. In any organizations, an employee's self-image is her or his banner. Who you are may not be as important as how others think you are. If your boss thinks that you are demanding for a salary raise when in fact you are just discussing the success of a project you recently completed, you are placing yourself in a hot spot. If you are being interviewed for a job, you must show that you are a well-informed applicant about the company's profile. If you appear lost in the middle of the interview, you will have poor chances of getting hired. For example, mag-a-apply ka ng trabaho. Hindi ka lang dapat physically presentable, dapat well-informed ka rin about sa company and dun sa job na pinag-a-applyan mo. Sabi nga nila, first impression, last image. Tinanong ka sa interview ng related sa trabahong gusto mong makuha. Tas hindi mo nasagot kasi hindi ka prepared. That impression will last na maaari ding maging reason para hindi ka makuha. So basically, yourself na pine-pertain dito is yourself as a whole. On how you dress up, on how you answer, on how you talk, and on how knowledgeable you are as an individual.
Prepare a list of topics. It is best to go to the battlefield prepared with all the weapons you need. Before facing the other party, write down the question you would like to ask. Sometimes, you do not get the information you need because you ask the wrong questions. Interviewees too should also list topics in an interview. They should have a clear plan about the kind of information they are willing to share. In this topic, pag mag-i-interview ka, ihanda mo yung sarili mo at mga pwede mong itanong sa i-interviewin mo. Tapos mag-isip ng mga tanong na connected sa topic. Hindi yung gagawa ka ng tanong tapos ang layo sa topic na pinag-uusapan nyo. Choose the best interview structure. A highly structured interview consists of a list of well-defined questions. The questions follow a particular order in which they are asked. Research papers use highly structured interviews in gathering data. Answers are easier to check and tabulate because they have detailed structure. It does not require so much skill from the interviewer. Highly structured interviews may be ideal in gathering large amount of data, but they may also be disadvantageous when the range of topics is strictly predetermined. In some instances, the interviewer may not have the chance to go back to intriguing and unclear answers that may arise during the conversation. Sa number 4, kailangan dapat nakaayos ang lahat lalo na pagdating sa mga question na ibabato mo. Halimbawa, may mag-a-apply ng trabaho at ikaw ang mag-i-interview. Sa first 3 questions, itatanong mo kung sino siya. Sa sumunod na 3 tanong, ano, saan, kailan, ang huling experience niya sa trabaho. Kumbaga, uunahin mong tanungin yung mga personal information niya tulad ng anong pangalan niya, ilang taon at taga saan. Hindi yung napakarami nyo nang napag-usapan tapos hindi mo pa pala siya kilala at saka mo tatanungin sa bandang dulo. Pag maayos ang structure ng questions, tuloy-tuloy ang usapan at pagsagot ng ini-interview. Hindi ka rin maintriga sa mga sagot at mag-open ulit ng panibagong tanong kasi may flow kang sinusundan. Para sa mga gumagawa naman ng pananaliksik at kailangan nilang mag-interview para makakalap ng information, kapag maayos ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng tanong nila, maayos nilang nakukuha yung mga data na kailangan. Less hassle at oras yun at hindi rin magkakaroon ng pagkalito na nagiging dahilan ng pagtatanong ulit para i-double check kung tama ba yung information. Hindi naman kailangan na napakagaling mong nag-i-interview para maging maayos ang interview session nyo. Sapat na yung alam mo kung ano ang daloy nito at ano-ano ang mga itatanong. Ngunit may isa itong disadvantage. Iyon ay kapag nasagot na sa mga nauna niyang sagot yung susunod mong itatanong. Hindi mo na dapat kailangan pang tanongin ulit. Kaya ang gagawin mo, ikaw na lang ang mag-a-adjust sa susunod mong tanong. The non-structured interview encourages a flexible conversation between the interviewer and the interviewee. The nature of questioning varies depending on the concerns that arise. Employers who have general agenda without specific questions use a non-structured interview. They may want to ask employees about whether or not they are happy with their job, if they find their coworkers stressful and why, and whether they are experiencing personal and work-related problems. Dito naman, malalaman mong non-structured o hindi maayos ang interview if bigla na lang may mga tanong na lumitaw na hindi naman dapat pang tinatanong kasi hindi naman kailangan o di kaya ay paulit-ulit na niyang nababanggit.
Number 5. Consider possible questions. It is easy to formulate questions once you have decided on your agenda. You may consider with writing different question formats. So, dito daw is madaling bumuo ng mga katanungan sa sandaling napagpasyahan mo. Ang iyong agenda maaari mong isaalang-alang. Ang pagsulat ng iba't ibang mga format ng mga tanong. Here's the kind of consider possible questions. So, narito naman po yung mga uri ng mga consider possible questions. So, letter A is open and closed questions. Closed questions do not give the interviewee the chance to respond naturally. Choices are predetermined which restrict the interview to explain and elaborate. Here is answer. Open questions encourage the interviewee to elaborate. These questions invite detailed answer. If you are being asked with closed question, you may want to turn it into an open one so you can share more information. Ang mga katanungan ay di daw binibigyan ng tsansa na makatanong. Tumugon na natural. Natukoy ang pagpili kung alin nagbawal sa kinakapanayam upang ipaliwanag at detalye ang mga sagot. Letter B is factual and opinion questions. Factual questions look for facts. Always consider your reason for asking a questions before you decide which one to use, factual questions or opinion questions. Dito naman sa factual and opinion questions, yung mga makatotohanang katanungan daw ay laging isaalang-alang. Ang iyong dahilan para sa pagtanong bago sa magpasya kung ilan ang gagamitin ang mga totoong katanungan. Sa letter C is primary and secondary questions. Primary questions introduce the main topic while secondary questions are to generate more information. Secondary questions are helpful when a previous answer does not give complete information. They also serve as a follow-up query when the given answer is vague. Secondary questions are used also when a previous answer is insignificant, irrelevant, or inaccurate. Primary and secondary questions naman is dito yung pinapakilala ng pangunahing paksa. Habang ang pangalawang mga katanong ay naglalayong makabuo ng karagdagang impormasyon. Direct and indirect questions. Dito naman sa direct and indirect questions, ang pinakamahusay daw na paraan upang makakuha ng isang direktang mga katanungan. Ang tinatanong direkta lalo na pag ang kanilang mga sagot ay maglalagay sa kanila sa isang direktang tanong. Will not work if the interviewee is not sure. To answer do not your interview a direct question if you think he is not right person to ask. It's smart to ask in questions the same information as would direct questions. Hindi gagana ang tagapanayam pag hindi sigurado yung sagot. Huwag tanungin ang yung kinakapanayam ng direktang tanong. So number 6 is arrange the setting. When you plan an interview, determine how much time you need to accomplish your purpose. Let your interviewee know the exact time and place of the interview. The other party should be informed how much time you need from him. Interviewee might be too hungry to answer questions. Interviews done immediately right before or after stressful meeting may not be successful at times because the interview is too preoccupied to answer your questions. Sa range setting daw is kapag daw nagpaplano ang isang pakikipanayam, tukuyin kung gaano karaming oras ang ilalaan mo upang magawa ang iyong hangarin.
Conducting the interview. The most important tasks to conducting the interview are preparing question and evaluating candidate answer. However, there are key things we can do to ensure successful interview process. Before we conduct an interview, first we create an interview environment. Conduct a neat and quiet area such as office or conference room. Offer the candidate a beverage and minimize distraction. That means no taking or responding emails, call, or text. This is small show consideration present you and your company in positive light. Conducting the interview. An interview consists of 3 stages: an opening, a body, and a conclusion. Number 1, opening. Meeting the candidate with a friendly demeanor and avoid small talk. Opening is the first impression last. This is true about giving self-introduction during interview. The first 30-60 seconds of your introduction should be spent carefully, as this is the time your interview makes 50% of his decision whether to hire you or not. 25% of evaluation is placed during the first 15 minutes. The remaining 25% is difficult to recover if you badly carried out during the first couple of minutes. Greetings and building rapport. A good introduction should begin with the greetings and self-introduction. You need to build rapport with your interviewee. An informal conversation can be both parties feel comfortable with each other. Thus, the result is more likely to be better. Dito raw yung pagbati mo o pagbuo ng isang ugnayan, isang mahusay na pagpapakilala na dapat itong sinisimulan sa isang pagbati at pagpapakilala sa sarili. Kailangan mong bumuo ng kaugnayan sa iyong kinakapanayam. Ang isang informal na pag-uusap ay maaaring makatulong sa parehong partido na comfortable sa bawat isa. Orientation. In this stage, the interviewer is the one in control the most. She or he set the agenda and prepare the interviewee for whatever it is that may arise during the conversation. This lessens the interviewee apprehension of the unknown. Ito naman ang mga yugto na ang tagapanayam ang siyang higit na kumokontrol. Tinatakdag niya ang agenda at ihahanda ang kinakapanayam para sa kung anumang maaaring lumabas habang sila'y nag-uusap. Binabawasan nito ang pag-aalala ng kinakapanayam upang hindi ito mawala sa kanyang sarili or yung pinag-uusapan. Number 2, body or during interview. During the interview, be attentive through nonverbal gesture. As the candidate question, be prepared to discuss responsibilities and function of judge. Body. This is the stage where question and answer are exchanged. As an interviewer, you must do the following tasks. Number 1, do not drift from the main agenda. Give your full attention. Use secondary question when needed. Ito naman yung pangalawa, yung body. Ito yung yugto na kung saan pinagpapalitan ang mga katanungan at sagot. Bilang isang tagapanayan, kailangan mong sundin ang sumusunod. Huwag kang lumayo sa kung anong pangunahing agenda. Bigyan ng iyong buong pansin. Gumamit ng pangalawang katanungan kung kinakailangan. And last, closing. Closing the interview. Give the candidate an opportunity to ask final questions. Provide time frame for getting back in touch regarding next step. Thank the candidate. Closing. Do not end your interview with the last answer to the last question. Plan a satisfactory way to close it. You may consider the following tasks. Review and clarify main points of the interview. Make future plan of action. Express appreciation. Sa pagsasara ng isang conducting interview, huwag ito biglang wag wakasan ang pakikipanayam sa huling sagot o sa huling tanong. Magplano ng isang kasiyasiyang paraan upang ito'y isara. Maaari mong isaalang-alang ang mga sumusunod na gawain gaya ng suriin at linawin ang pangunahing mga punto ng pakikipanayam. Gumawa ng mga plano sa pagkilos sa hinaharap. Pahayag ang pagpapahalaga at bigyan ito ng pagpapasalamat sa huli. Thank you very much for listening and I hope you learned something from Group 9. Thank you.